stands have filled remarkably over the past hour or so, and everybody is here to see this second Gillette Fusion test between two very proud rugby league playing nations, Great Britain and New Zealand. Just before the kick-off, a quick mention to Alf Davis, a former Leeds chief executive who in October underwent a triple heart bypass operation. He's a popular man within rugby league and many circles across many other sports. We wish him well, and I'm sure Alf will enjoy this moment now as the Kiwis perform the haka. Terrific. I'm sure that that will help Alf's recuperation. He will have enjoyed that. And also, I will give you a quick mention to one or two people. Matt King, you may remember him, the former London Broncos youngster who broke his neck a few years back. Well, he takes part in the New York Marathon tomorrow. He is watching tonight, we understand, across the pond in New York. He has got access to either the internet or a television screen somewhere in the Big Apple, and he's going to be watching this. So, Matt, let's hope that your New York Marathon goes well for you tomorrow, and let's hope that Great Britain come up with the win for you. It's the Kiwis, though, who are going to kick off, and Jeremy Smith, the Melbourne Storm grand final winner, will get this second test underway. Vital that Britain get off to a good start. Here we go, the second test is underway. History is knocking on the door for the British team. 14 years since they last won a series, and can they manage it tonight? This is the first run of the game from local boy Gareth Rayner of the Black and Whites. He will play the ball to John Clark, his first touch then at international level. And there he is again, the Warrington hooker. It's the first time that a Warrington hooker has started for Great Britain since 1955, by the way. Kevin Ashcroft did play, of course, for Great Britain in the 70s, but he came on as a sub, and Britain had the first penalty of the night.
Well, good start by Great Britain. We saw earlier to that an offload by Morley that got Great Britain going forward. There, the interference on Paul Wellens. Now they have a chance early in the game with the ball, starting a set in New Zealand's half. Well, it's almost a perfect start for GB.
Here they come then with Adrian Morley. He will drive it in. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 black jerseys there to bring him down, just outside the 20-metre zone. And here is Peacock, and Peacock bounces off a couple, and Peacock will get Great Britain off to a wonderful start. Jamie Peacock with the opening British try. And New Zealand look totally and utterly baffled, bothered and bewildered. Peacock with the try, the captain, his 4th try at this level. Leading Great Britain for the 10th time, Jamie Peacock. Just 3 wins so far. Well, how about this for a start for the British Test captain?
Unbelievable by the big fella. It all came about with New Zealand giving away the penalty. Interference to the fullback Paul Wellens, and from that position he just stepped off one. They went far too high. Lanto Haya just got bumped out of the way, and the rest is history. You got to stop me better than this, boys. What an effort, and what a TRY from the skipper.
And I've said it before, I'll say it again, you earn the right to be the captain of your country by what you do for the team, not what you say to the team before the game or in the huddle before the match, by leading by example, and Peacock's done that perfectly. Finding that soft spot behind the play of the ball that Great Britain worked so successfully out last week. He's hit it in one.
Can Kevin Sinfield add the extras? Yeah. Yes, he can. Kevin Sinfield, who has played and scored in every Leeds Rhinos game that he's appeared in this year, every single one of them, and Britain leads 6-0.
And fully deserved. You can see the Kiwis are having their backs the GB boys. You can't afford to do that. And by the time they got themselves settled, Asatazi, he had his back to the big fella and they took full advantage.
The Lions are roaring early.
It's what you do in response now, isn't it? I'll guarantee you after the haka, they got together in a huddle, the Kiwi team, and I'll bet Roy Asatasi said, whatever else we do, let's get away to a good start. The Great Britain team had lined up, they were ready to take, they were in kick-off formation. They'd already spoken about getting away to a good start. Sometimes only one team does. The response now must come from the Kiwis.
Well, Jamie Peacock's first try in international football came against Australia in Huddersfield after just 2 minutes. And he has just repeated the dose here against the Kiwis after 2 minutes here at the KC Stadium in this second test of the 2007 series. Wonderful start.
Certainly was, and not surprisingly, we've seen the hooker, John Clark, just make himself get into the international flavour, just take it nice and steady. And when he gets a bit more confidence, he'll start to try to run from that dummy half position.
Great offload that was. This is Rob Burrow, and this is the fifth and final tackle. Sinfield stepping off one leg, giving it then to Leon Price. And Price with the hoof downfield. It's collected on the full by Sam Perrott.
Good combination there by the GB boys. They put the pressure on Kevin Sinfield, but they'd worked it out pretty smartly. Leon Price had dropped back just in case. Look at that. Great stuff. That's what you do out on the training field, and it is so important.
This now Jeremy Smith for the New Zealanders. Just over the halfway line they are at the end of the third tackle. It's a penalty, though, for New Zealand. Hands in, I think, at the play the ball interference, says the Australian referee Tony Archer.
Well, to be fair, in the first test, Tony Archer had a few problems in and around the play the ball area. The New Zealanders especially were trying to turtle the Great Britain players every time they had possession. Looks like he's not going to mess around in that department tonight. That's great defence.
Tremendous defence from Great Britain. Morley leading the way with a little bit of support from Sean O'Loughlin. This now is Sam Rapira, a powerhouse prop, revelation for New Zealand Warriors this year. It's now with Simon Mannering. And New Zealand inside the Great Britain 20-metre zone. Rapira again starting the test, wearing 17, named on the bench, but Fui Moi taking his place on the interchange bench, and Rapira starting the match. Little dart forward here, and he was held forward actually by some British tackling that tried to sweep him off his feet. It comes to Thomas Luluwai. Luluwai dabs it in behind, and Rayner gets a hand to it, flicks the ball dead, because he knew that Shontaine Harpy was hunting for Gary Kemble's Kiwis.
It's exactly the same move that produced a try for Shontaine Harpy in that test at Huddersfield. And I must say, they worked very hard there. Gareth Rayner put himself in a pretty good position. The defence of Great Britain was excellent last week.
And Steve-O, one of the many features that were so good for Great Britain was their defence on their try line. They're about to be tested again. The Kiwis will be delighted they've been able to build some pressure. Be interesting to see what happens off this set.
Here's Roy Asatazi. Ooh, he drives that straight into the chest of Kevin Sinfield. Bowled him over the on his backside then. Here now is the centre Paul Fatuira, who's off to Huddersfield next year, played all his football for the West Tigers 2007. It's Jeremy Smith. Smith then, oh, and that's knocked down by a British hand. Jeremy Smith picks it up again, and it is 0, says the referee. Wipes the tackle count clean because Lance O'Hire had the possession for New Zealand. Jeremy Smith again tries to get away from Leon Price, does so, but only as far as Sean O'Loughlin.
Well, the official have already said that Keith Senior made a play for that. That's why he's back to 6.
Asatazi again here for New Zealand. Gets the ball away, and it's Rapira. And Great Britain's defence stands firm again on the end of the second tackle, this set of 6. They go wide with O'Hire, further wide for Fatuira. It's a good run here from the winger Tuiaki. But here's pushed back by solid British defence. Look how many were in there. Now Rapira again. Good work once more from the British defence. Ellis low down. Drive for the line here by the second row, Pritchard.
You've got to keep an eye on Asatasi. If he spins in the tackle, he'll offload.
There's Rapira. Back he comes to O'Hire. He will hoist the kick. And they have numbers out wide here. And
what a
great take by Rayner.
Unbelievable work there. Shontaine Harpy was hovering over him. Fantastic. Lift the confidence, you could see there. Keith Senior slapping him on the back. It was a wonderful kick, was well weighted. What a take.
That'll do Gareth Rayner's confidence. The power of good will do the British defence the power of good as well. This now is Sean O'Loughlin. He has never started a game in the second row before, the Wigan captain. Gareth Ellis has many times, of course, has become and developed into one of the best second row forwards in the world. This, John Clark. Little scuttling run from Clark. Hauled down by Jeremy Smith. Burrow in at dummy half. Now it's with Leon Price. Flicks the pass to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin finds Paul Wellens. Wellens is grounded. On the last tackle here, Great Britain. Midway inside the Kiwis' half of the field. With Burrow again, left-footed. Picked up, though, easily by Shontaine Harpy.
Not the best kick there from Rob Burrow. Surprised me that it did not go for the high bomb. These lights at these stadium, the right high into the corner. And we've seen many times when we come here to watch Hull that they utilise it pretty well.
You pulled him back down, mate. Surrender!
Drive forward again by Paul Fatuira. He's making his 15th appearance for New Zealand. Little half break here from Sam Perrott, the full-back, and he has support also from Pritchard. Pritchard looks and finds a great runner with the winger, and the ball inside is straight to a British hand. And that's Aidy Gardner tidying up for Great Britain. It was a wonderful run from Tuiaki, but the pass, well, it was found wanting.
He had to force it, though. What a wonderful tackle, right round the legs from Paul Wellens. It had to be, but that'll give Gary Campbell plenty to smile about. That was pretty effective. And that short blind side, they were caught short there, Great Britain.
Coming up to the 10th minute, Britain leading courtesy of the early try from Jamie Peacock, converted by his Leeds Rhinos teammate Kevin Sinfield. This now Martin Gleeson. Gleeson plays the ball to his club colleague John Clark of the Warrington Wolves, halted by Rapira on the last tackle.
It's a problem for Roy Asatase, I think. He's down in back play. I think he collided with one of his own teammates.
Burrow's kick just meanders its way into the arms again of Tuiaki.
What is in Disneyland? There he is. Asatase just doesn't know what's happened.
Got a real clunk on the back of the head by the looks of things, the way he was holding his head and just shaking it as he joins his teammates here as this attack builds. Solid British defence in centre field.
Hold. Go.
Yes, it was a bad bang on the back of the head. Thomas Luluwai will spin the ball into the arms of second rower. Knock on, though. Second rower Mannering just trying to force the pass.
Eddie, it may be a knock on there by New Zealand, but in the first 11 minutes, we've already seen greater cohesion, I think, in their attack. They've been to the left-hand side, they've had some success, and you saw how instantly they react to an opportunity. There's the pass out the back from Mannering to Luluwai. It doesn't come off, but they seem to be better prepared this week than they were in attack last.
Burrow feeds the scrum. It comes out via Sinfield to Leon Price. He sees a gap, Leon Price. Very important that that tackle was made. This is Wellens again. Wellens, the Great Britain full-back. Missed just 2 tests in the last 4 seasons, Paul Wellens. Now Clark. Clark to Adrian Morley. Morley is pulled down by Jeremy Smith's tackle.
Will they get the link working here?
John Clark again. Fires the pass to Leon Price. Back it goes to Paul Wellens. Wellens then on to Keith Senior. Here is Gareth Rayner. Rayner then dumps the ball to Paul Wellens, and he is spun to the ground almost by the centre Clinton Tupik. That's the end of tackle number 4. Now it's Rayner. Here is Rob Burrow. Britain asking a few questions in attack this time. Long raking pass from Leon Price. Martin Gleeson gets the ball wide to Aidy Gardner. Gardner cuts in field. That's the last tackle for Great Britain. They're trying to get it wide when they possibly can. It's with Burrow. It's going to be a high kick to the corner, looking for Gareth Rayner. And Rayner just got a fingertip to it. But he couldn't catch the ball as he did behind his own goal line a few minutes ago.
Tremendous kick by Burrow.
Took him out in the air, mate.
Had the opportunity.
It's a penalty here to Great Britain.
Took him out in the air, yeah. Yeah, took him out in the air, mate. Yeah, but attacking, no, not in international
The referee
football.
is saying
play can also be penalised.
The referee is saying that the British player Rayner was taken out in the air.
There you go.
So this is a great chance for Great Britain.
Well, it's obviously deemed that Shontaine
Right
Harpy
here, boys.
wasn't interested in taking the football and went for the man instead. Pretty fortunate for the GB boys.
Here is Peacock.
Dominant!
Will it be a drive down the middle and then the switch of play? Did it so often in the first test?
Leon Price looking busy. Great Britain. A run here from Gleeson. The tackle was made by Rapira. Clark at dummy half. Back to Leon Price. Great step from Leon Price. Second try for Great Britain for Leon Price. Referee
This will be the third, mate. I'm just checking the grounding.
has not given it yet. Wants to check the grounding.
Tremendous step. When this guy's on form, there's no team can stop him. No problems at all. Full control of the football. The step was out of this world.
No, I said they took him in there.
It's a third one is displayed. There's the confirmation of the try.
Steve Ganson, the video referee, confirms that Leon Price comes up with his fourth try at international level in his 17th test appearance, but only his third appearance at standoff for Great Britain. He's played 13 previously on the wing.
A little bit fortunate that they have taken the penalty for that. He's deemed that Harpy has gone for the man instead of the football, but look at the step there. Superb. Last week they pinpointed the standoff Lantohaya, and they've done exactly the same thing. He's not the best defender in the world, is a New Zealand number 6. And he wants to put down the marker, Leon Price. He's often said he wants to be the best in the world, and with a step like that, you can't fault him.
First international try for Leon Price in 5 years.
Real test for New Zealand now. Having won only 2 of the last 10 matches, they've just had a very difficult decision go against them. Perhaps for the second week running as well. Tony Archer has favoured the Great Britain side when it's come to the 50-50 call. The penalty was what gave Great Britain this opportunity. And it's a real test now for New Zealand. Long confidence and behind on the scoreboard. Playing away from home. This I'd see what you're made of now.
Well, he just gets the elbow, and that has been sufficient as far as Tony Archer, the Australian referee, is concerned. A bit fortunate, I feel, but he won't mind.
And I think if it was up the other end, we'd be saying that's a bit harsh. Anyway, Great Britain leading by 12 points to 0. They've had enough decisions go against them in the past. And that's out on the full. That is not the restart that New Zealand wanted.
Right mess of this, and Wellens just realised at the very last moment.
There's your mark,
Well,
mate,
2
over one.
tries. He did well, didn't he?
Did well to get out of the way.
Yeah, got his body out of the way just in time.
So penalty on halfway to New Zealand, to Great Britain rather, and New Zealand on the back foot. 16 minutes of the match gone, and they've got to get themselves sorted here. Otherwise, Sean, there's a danger this test will run away from them, a la Wellington 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, you're quite right. Look, this is the third set in a row now that the Kiwis have had to defend their line, and well, there's a turnover, and that's got them out of a little bit of trouble. But one thing that they don't do well, something I've applauded and praised the Great Britain side for already, is they defend their line so well. I'm not convinced on the Kiwis. When they get a little bit tired, they just forget to work from the inside. Some people come up and in, some people come up and out. They don't communicate well enough.
Adrian Morley losing the football. That's why the New Zealanders have this possession, and they are in charge of the football here with Paul Fatuira, and they're making good ground down that left-hand touchline, aren't they? Every time they get the ball, they tend to attack down that wing.
Well, they obviously feel that Martin Gleeson, not as strong a defender. They spend hours poring over the tapes, make sure that they can find a weak link. Pretty difficult at international level.
I think it may be more of a case of the fact that they spotted that Rob Burrows on that side, and although Rob Burrow will stop you, he won't stop possession, and a low tackle is what New Zealand love. The offload allows them to play at their best.
The ball is knocked forward by the New Zealanders into the arms of Wellens, who gives it then to Keith Senior. Senior is halted though. The high kick from Luluai causing Rayner a few problems this end.
Yeah, it was a good kick indeed, but the one thing that Tony Smith will be so pleased about is the way that Great Britain are working as a unit. Whenever there's a kick, there's not just one person going back and shielding, there's 3 and 4, and that's so important.
It's Adi Gardner now for Great Britain. And there is the number 8, Fui Moi Moi. Now it's the British number 8, Adrian Morley, driving it forward. 12 months' time, England, as they will be then, will face Australia in the World Cup in Melbourne. Can they claim a first series win in 14 years to take with them? Well, they're on the way, of course, and talking of the World Cup, we saw Ireland qualifying last night. Tomorrow, a second home nation will claim its place in Australia. Will it be Scotland or Wales? Sky Sports 3, and in high definition on HD2, that's channel 409. This Sunday afternoon from 2 o'clock. We'll be in Glasgow. We're on the tour of the North this week.
3.
Those things should be off there.
Go.
I've just seen Leon Price again get heavily involved. We've seen what he has to do with the ball, but I've never seen him in a quarter of rugby, the opening quarter, work as hard in defence as he has here tonight.
Carry it down.
Good hit from Gareth Ellis, that was.
Those things should be on a power.
That's the last tackle here.
It's got to be a telling kick from the Kiwis. They're desperate to get points back.
Ohio, it bounces everywhere off the head, finds its way out to the side, and
I think
it's a
it'll be
knock-on off New Zealand.
Yeah, he's giving it the Great Britain way. Well, it was a beautiful header from Price.
And the knock-on deemed to have gone off the Kiwi, so it's the Great Britain's scrum feed, who lead 12-0.
Heads in, boys.
It was 3 tries apiece last week. Great Britain won the game thanks to Rob Burrows kicking. And you know, when you think about that, how ironic that New Zealand, who boasted 3 of the greatest kickers in the world not long ago in Matthew Ridge, Daryl Halligan and Frano Botica, were found wanting in that particular department.
Go.
It's Keith Senior now for Great Britain. To Rob Burrow. Oh, and he ducks underneath the challenges. He's still going Burrow before Thomas Luluai halts him.
The difference between Great Britain and the side that played in that first test is they were just panicking a little bit. When they made the half break, they were trying to force the pass. They came up with a lot of errors. There hasn't been one so far.
Leon Price. Back it goes now to Jamie Peacock. Peacock is met by Simon Mannering. Last tackle here for Great Britain. There's something very steady, though, about Great Britain at the moment, isn't there? Something really, really pleasing to the eye.
They're playing as a unit, that's why. Well,
That's good work.
Tremendous. Remember, it was Perrett's wonderful little run from the dummy half that caught out Gareth Rayner last week and supplied Shontaine Harpy with his second try. They've got to keep an eye on the fullback.
Here's Moi Moi again, taking it straight at Clark. That's going to be a penalty. The referee shouted to the British defenders, John Clark and Adrian Morley, to move away from the grounded man.
The Kiwis are desperate for this as well. They've really got to get good field position. We've yet to see combination of their 2 halfbacks, Bawaya and Luluai.
And the crowd just buzzing a bit because Maori Fasavalu has come into the fray. He replaces the skipper as well. He now is Sam Rapira. Moi Moi, ooh, nearly took Clark off his feet.
He's a danger, this fella. He had a big game last week as well.
Halatau gives it to Lance Ohio. Ohio, though, with this solid British line ahead of him. Can't get through.
We said it so often last week, Eddie, in regards to the GB defence. They stick solid, they don't get sucked one out.
This is Clinton Tupi, trying to spin his way to the line. Rob Burrow did well to hang on to him. Senior was over the top. Ohio was dummy half. Here is Luluai, stabs the kick in, but that's far too strong.
And it came about because of pressure. And talking of pressure, Gary Kemble knows that he's got to come up with something different.
The crowd a little frustrated because the referee not allowing a quick restart from the tap 20, as they do in Super League, but these are international rules. Sean, we've talked about this ad nauseum privately. Why can they not play this game from the same set of rules around the world, international, club or whatever?
I have absolutely no idea, Eddie, but the sooner we do, the better it is for everybody, because, you know, I've got no problem with the way that's played, and I've also got no problem if everybody's ready, just play on. In fact, we did see another rule before when the penalty was given with Shontaine Harpy on Gareth Rayner. I don't have time to explain that. I hope I do later on.
I think the biggest problem, Sean, is the fact that the Australians keep changing it every year.
Well, Steve-O, you can have your local rules, can't you?
Yeah.
And the one I was referring to with Gareth Rayner and Shontaine Harpy, no, is an NRL rule, which again I haven't got time to explain. But it's the same with the you know, we play that quick tap rule in the Super League, whareas in the NRL they don't. They allow everybody to be set, and that is seen as the international rule. But I agree with everybody. I think you know, whatever country we play it in, we should be playing under the same laws.
Well, whichever rules we're playing under tonight, Great Britain are playing very well, and they lead by 12 points to 0. And they're looking absolutely solid. There seems to be a really strong spine to this British team at the moment, doesn't there? They look set, they look settled. Hope we're not tempting fate here. Here goes the winger again, that's Tuiaki.
Well, that's where they've had most success, on that left-hand flank as they're attacking.
Clear.
Up goes the kick from O'Hire, it's off the outside of the boot, it's sliced. It's well claimed by Keith Senior. And he is tackled by Simon Mannering.
That should have been a flop there. Anderson came in very late indeed.
Wellens jinks inside. Luluai tries to get away from Tupi. There are 4 others though in there.
This is where the scoop comes along. That's why Burroughs in there.
Here he goes. Gives it to Fasavalu. Breaks one tackle. Can't get away from Halatau. Burrow again. He'll have a scamper away. Halted by the challenge from Louis Anderson. 4 tackles gone.
He amazes me, this Rob Burrow. He runs about. When they get to him, they throw him around like a little rat.
Well, they do, and I asked him about that, and he said, well, he's been doing it all his life because of his size. There's nothing strange to him about this. Sinfield with the kick wide again, looking for Rayner. This time it's knocked forward again by the New Zealanders. It's back to 0 in the tackle count. Referee's wiped it down. Here is Kevin Sinfield. Sinfield to Fasavalu. Fasavalu away from Louis Anderson.
Ball on the ground.
He said it was still the last, Eddie. That was the indication. No, the hand in the earth. No, still the last. Still the last.
Oh, that's a penalty now to New Zealand. Surely that was touched by New Zealand when the ball was in the air, wasn't it?
Here's your mark.
Surely that was knocked forward by the Kiwis.
Thanks, mate.
Well, did it go backwards first and then?
Well, he's obviously ruled it's come off Rayner and not Shontaine Harpy.
Either way, the Kiwis have got the penalty, and that's where they want
it.
it.
To make a split-second decision, Tony Archer, to be fair.
Hold. Yes, hold.
But our split-second decision was back to 0.
Well, they're doing a pretty good job in keeping Asatasi very quiet. Only 2 real offloads, and that's great defence. Morley working hard.
Well, New Zealand making 4 changes in the opening 26 minutes here. Great Britain have only made the 1. Ball finds its way out eventually to Tuiaki. Britain's solid defence is there again. I think the Kiwis just need a little sniff of something, and they might pose a threat here for Britain. But Great Britain are absolutely solid in defence.
They're not coming out of that line, and that's what's confusing the New Zealanders.
Luluai stabs the ball towards the corner, but he's not got his sights set quite right yet, although Harpy was hunting that.
Just a touch too strong. Just hasn't got it right. The radar not working too well.
Clark restarts, little fumble from Aidy Gardner, but he hung on to it.
And the amazing thing about the Great Britain showing so far is that there has been very little running solo from the dummy half position.
Let's get down to the sideline, Bill.
Well, this is going to be interesting, because entering the fray now is young Sam Burgess, the 18-year-old who made such an impact last time out. He's replacing Kevin Sinfield, and of course he'll be renewing acquaintances with Fufu Moimoi. Those two had quite a run-in last weekend, and it'll be interesting to see how they get on tonight.
Yes, it will be, because there's been a war of words again between New Zealand and Great Britain about the fact that Sam Burgess has been allowed to play in this match, despite being placed on report last week. And they say that Fui Moi Moi was struggling to eat solid food for about 3 or 4 days during the course of the week.
Well, he's struggling now. It took him ages to get up off the ground. They'll be sending out the man to give him treatment on the run. There you can see it on the left-hand corner. He really is struggling. He's Moi Moi.
And Roy Asatazi's got hands on his knees as well. He's blowing a bit. But this now is Anderson, Louis Anderson.
They've got to try something different, the Kiwis. They know that they can't get through this defence. They've got to maybe the little chip over, grubber in between, but not wait until the very last tackle. They've got to provide something different.
Thomas Luluai, Wigan Warriors. Good hands, that was Harpy. That's
well
the last
done.
tackle, though, for the New Zealanders here on Perrott as he plays the ball to Harpy again. It's with Luluai, he'll hoist the high kick this time. Looking for something out wide, and all he found was Adi Gardner. Dealt with that very well under pressure from Fatuira.
Did well to hold on to that ball as well, Gardner.
Gleeson now for Great Britain. Gleeson, one of 3 Warrington players in this Great Britain side. First time that Warrington have had 3 in the British team since 1952. Rayner gets the ball out the back door to Gleeson.
Wonderful to see the wingers just getting in there. Remember, Gardner took the kick into the corner, and straight away Gareth Rayner was there, and it was a pretty good run as well.
Graham, Great Britain are using their substitutes now. Graham, he's carrying 3 of them 5, 6, 7 metres further forward over the halfway line. Here goes Leon Price. Leon Price with another crossfield kick. It's high, but it's a little bit too deep this time. The bounce, though, wasn't very kind. And here comes Lance Hohire again. He gets as far as Fasivalu. I beg your pardon, it's Shontaine Harpy. He gets as far as Burgess and Fasivalu.
Well, with the defence in this mode, Great Britain would be very confident. OK, they've got the 12 points on the board, but they are just diffusing everything that's been thrown at them by the Kiwis.
The line's really been threatened, has it?
Yeah.
In fact, it hasn't been threatened.
Well, twice on that left-hand side, just. But they get back in numbers.
Clinton Tupy. And it's Perrott, the full-back, who will want to forget what happened last week at Huddersfield when he gifted Rayner his try. Otherwise, it was a fairly sound international debut from Sam Perrott. Here's Ohio. It's
Far too
high
long,
and it's
yeah.
far too deep again. And it's easy for Adi Gardner. Just plucked it out of the air. Puts the ball in field to his full-back Wellens.
You can always see when a side is getting very tired indeed, and the Kiwis have had to do a lot of defence. And that
Hit there, though, by Frank Pritchard.
And that kick into the corner, Gardner easily took the ball, but there was hardly any black and white shirts running to get the chase right.
Eddie, it looks like an improved New Zealand team effort from last week. The defence has been stronger, they've carried the ball and they've had great control of the ball. The kicking game is probably the element of play, and in perhaps any direction from the halves or hooker, really the only missing link in their jigsaw at present.
Great Britain on the halfway line on the last here, and it's with Burrow again, left-footed. It's Shontaine Harpy again. That's easy for him. If it was easy for Gardner just a few moments ago, that was an easy take for Shontaine Harpy on this side of the field.
But you saw the difference there, Eddie. The one on the kick, soon as a black and white man got it, there was 4 or 5 white shirts around him.
Tupy plays the ball. That was Simon Mannering, and here now is Sam Perrott.
Well, if there's one guy out there in black and white, it's the fullback Sam Perrott that'll cause a few problems. Nice step.
Great run indeed from the number 14, David Fayumu. And Fayumu will play it here to Perrott. Now it's with Lance Ohio. Ohio, now was that played at? The referee hasn't made a sign yet. Oh, and they've flung the ball out.
To be fair to them, they realise they've got to keep trying something different. Got to keep it alive. Ball played the man.
Don't think he'd have wiped the tackle can down, do you?
Nope.
Little pass out the back door from Frank Pritchard.
And he realises, and you can see that this New Zealand outfit, they are really struggling. Don't be surprised if Great Britain put on a move here from deep.
I'm yelling, mate, as
Yeah,
well.
I agree with you, Steve. They look tired to me. When they get the ball back from the kick, they go into a little bunch. You know, you generally indicate your enthusiasm levels and your energy levels by the shape that you keep both offensively and defensively. And it's the Kiwis, to me, that are the ones that look very, very tired at the moment. The speed of line isn't quite as good as you'd want it to be. When the Great Britain side kick, they don't get back and help the returners. And they're just sort of trying to get through, I think, to half-time here.
This is Keith Senior. Now it's with Gareth Ellis. Ellis nearly stepping out of the challenges. Does step out of the challenges. They're dropping off the tackles. New Zealand at an alarming rate. And Ellis
Talk
halted.
about upper body strength. That was
And now they get a
unbelievable.
After the break.
Well, Louis Anderson did a hop
There's your mark, mate. One in front.
hop right over the top and just caught the head of Gareth Ellis.
Thanks, mate.
What an effort.
To me, boys.
Get out of the way.
Great Britain will restart then with John Clark. He finds Jamie Peacock.
Hot one, Clinton.
They have plenty of time, as you can see on the clock. 33.5 minutes gone, 12-0, looking for another try. Senior, Keith Senior stands, gets the ball away to Clark. Clark in field to Graham. Graham, well, Moi got to him, but he's still got the ball away to Burrow. Burrow then on to Price, and Price up the middle. Only as far as Asutazi, who scragged him to the ground.
Stand. Two.
Burrow, dummy half. Comes down the left channel, Peacock. Peacock is halted, but trying to squirm away.
Frank. Three.
He wasn't happy with that
Oh, he
little
could have
push
been-
on his ankle then.
Could have been penalised, Peacock there.
This is Keith Senior, great strength from Senior! And Senior's just hauled back this side of the whitewash. John Clark. Clark off the deck to Burrow. Burrow to Price. Price finds Wellens. And Wellens bounces off one, bounces off two, keeps the movement going. Here is Sam Burgess. Little hop and a skip and a jump from Burgess. Grounded on the last. 15 metres away from the Kiwis line. John Clark again. Here is Burrow. Burrow dabs the ball to the in-goal area. Work for Clinton Tupy to do. And Tupy does it.
Good position as well by the centre. It had to be. That was the right tactics by the Great Britain boys. Rod Burrow just trying to get the... Oh, that's been lost.
Stolen. Penalty to New Zealand.
And that's a third occasion that they've been in a pretty good defensive system, and then they've given the penalty away. And you can see there they're hunched over, they're struggling. They're hoping that these just under 5 minutes goes extremely quickly.
Am I right in thinking that there seems to be a club feel about Great Britain tonight? Would you say that would be the case, Sean? They look, every one of them at the moment looks as though they know what each and every one is supposed to be doing.
Well, they're extremely confident, and they've probably got their confidence not only from last week's win, but also their start tonight when they got away to a tremendous start with Jamie Peacock's first try. And I just think the Kiwis are a lot, they're just one out, they're playing into Great Britain's hands. You know, they're getting the offloads, but they're not doing a lot from it. Like even now we're seeing, you know, there's plenty of Great Britain numbers there, and the Kiwis, just to me, there's a lack of cohesion about that team.
Thomas Luluwai with a long pass, and on the bounce it finds its way. Well, it comes free. It's a knock on, says the referee.
First one back, second one knock on.
Well, they're trying their damnedest to keep that ball alive, but it was a shocking pass there. He couldn't get it, Pritchard.
He says it was the first one was a knock back, the second one was the knock on, says referee Tony Archer.
Well, Price didn't get anywhere near it. Only slightly.
It was the second one, was. Come on.
The pace is really upsetting this New Zealand outfit. They'll be happy that Great Britain are taking their time to form this scrum.
Britain 12 up here, but the crowd, Sean, very quiet, just a little bit flat, but there's a chase on here. Tupy is after this, Rayner's behind him. Oh, Tupy has made a porridge of it. Oh, so Rayner.
Oh, I cannot believe that. Neither can Tony Smith. It was a wonderful effort. I scream about wanting teams to do this week in and week out. When they pack the scrum down deep, they don't have a fullback at bay. And what happened? They got everything right. It bobbed up. And all Wellens had to do was just say, excuse me, Mr. Rayner, I will score. What a mess.
Face to play the ball, mate.
Penalty here for Great Britain for a faulty play the ball by New Zealand, but what a chance goes. What a chance goes begging.
Well, it's not often you get given a second chance, is it?
Mate, he's got
I
to
suppose
face
it's
square,
easy
mate.
for us. We all knew Rayner had time, nobody around him.
Like
But having been involved in that first collision, off balance, the frustration he knew. 12 points in rugby league. Well, it isn't that much. 16 to 18, it has a completely different look about it. And the side with the ball then, with an 18-point lead, can play in a far different manner. More relaxed and confidence. But they're given a second chance here now. A penalty against New Zealand with 2 minutes to go. Amazing. I mean, we saw one of those again last week. They've had some bad luck.
It's another great chance for Sam Burgess! Sam Burgess! And Burgess is halted just short of the line.
Look at the Kiwis, there's 6 being involved in it. Swing it out.
Graham!
It's good defence. Very solid indeed.
They've got to defend the line for 3 more. Great Britain with 3 opportunities to breach them, with Burrow, with Price. With Price back, it comes to Wellens. Here is senior Rayner! He's in this time, is he?
Yeah.
Rayner has given the try. Well, the penalty is very, very costly for New Zealand. Rayner missed the opportunity just a few moments ago, but he was then handed a second chance via the penalty. And this time, Gareth Rayner accepted it with both hands. Last week, he notched his 100th career try against the Kiwis. This week, he has made it 3 tries for Great Britain and edges the British even further ahead on the stroke of half-time.
Well, this is one that it really should have snapped up. It just panicked in that situation, but it didn't on this one. What a run from Burgess. What a find this young kid has been. Look at the numbers around the man playing the ball. They were always going to be found short out wide. Price, look how the little dummy, it was just sufficient. And a quick offload by the centre senior was nothing short of superb. Notice how Rayner realised the cover defence was coming across. He dived in with his shoulder. The entire body went in towards the sticks and not out towards the touchline. That was a great finish. That's evened up the balance.
3 tries in 6 tests for Gareth Rayner, but his first on English soil and, of course, on his home ground here at the KC Stadium. Rob Burrow is taking the goal kick because Kevin Sinfield is off the field at the moment. Burrow was excellent with the boot last week. He won the Man of the Match award. Oh, dear.
You put the mockers right on him. It was a shocker.
But 16-0. And there goes the half-time siren. And Gareth Rayner's try right on the stroke of half-time, giving Great Britain that 16-point advantage. But there have been stars throughout the British team tonight. Peacock with the opening try after 2 minutes, then Price with a try after a quarter of an hour or so, and Rayner right on the bell at half-time. 16 points to 0. They have not won a series for 14 years. They are 40 minutes away from making history, the British boys. Great start from the captain, and they've built on that. They look solid as a rock. Well, there's live football coming up tomorrow. First up, action from the Championship as Norwich take on Ipswich at 12:30 on Sky Sports 1 and in high definition on HD1, channel 408. And that's followed by a Premier League clash between West Ham and Bolton at 3, also on Sky Sports 1 and HD1 as well. It's half-time in this second Gillette Fusion test between Great Britain and New Zealand, and doesn't that make pretty reading from a British point of view? 16-0 they lead. They are 40 minutes away from claiming a first series win since 1993. And Tony Smith will be well pleased with his charges, well pleased with the way they have accounted for themselves in that first half. And Danny Maguire, of course, there in the background with the dark blue jumper on with the ball. We've yet to see him, and he could be one of Great Britain's potent strike weapons in the second half. What on earth must Gary Kemble be feeling right now? Well, the body language isn't good, I must say, but he's under fire at home. They're not really giving him much support, I must say, some of the former players. But he is obviously a coach under pressure, and he has to come up with something special in the second half. 16-0 Great Britain lead. 16 points is not an unassailable lead, but the way Great Britain are playing, it gives, I'm sure, them and their supporters great heart. Wonder what the boys have made of it on the touchline, Barry and Terry. Terry O'Connor, to you first of all. You've been watching the Great Britain performance. It's been pretty special, hasn't it? A great first half.
They started off really strong with the try after New Zealand conceded the penalty. But what they seem to be doing is just staying in the same channels, attacking the same defenders as they done last week. And that's where they seem to be getting all the joy. And it'll be interesting to see in the second half, Rob Burrow probably going into the acting half-back, going into the hooking role, Danny Maguire coming on, and then Rob Burrow will start scooting, really exploiting what the Great Britain forwards have been doing really well.
I must say, Tony Smith's only had them for, what, about a month or so, but he seems to have instilled a club atmosphere out there. They look as though each and every one of them knows exactly what they're doing.
They're really confident, aren't they? And you can just see, like, talk to Adrian Morley before the game, he said there's a real air of confidence in the changing room, and they come out and they're expecting to put on a good performance, and going in and scoring that try just before half-time, that's going to be really hard for the Kiwis to get back, I personally feel.
Barry, the New Zealanders look shot to pieces.
They do, and you know, many people expecting them to front up, and I think Roy Asotasi has been very, very, very good in that first half. And Moi, when he got on the pitch, he has a reputation for being an enforcer, and he's trying to regain that reputation. But I just feel he's launching himself, his passion and his emotion is probably getting the better of him, and he's missed a couple of tackles. But the Kiwis have had to defend a hell of a lot, and that's come from Great Britain's discipline. When they've got the ball, they've completed a hell of a lot of sets and got to the kick and put pressure on the New Zealand side that have had to come away from their own line.
Any hope for New Zealand, Barry, second half? And do you expect Britain to kick on now and win this easily?
Great Britain could kick on, but I think New Zealand are a very, very dangerous side. And as I said before, you know, a side with nothing to lose, you know, can throw something to put a spanner in the works. And whenever they start to throw that ball around and whenever they start to offload, they look really, really dangerous.
Thanks, fellas. Talk to you later on this evening. They're watching at ground level. We're enjoying it up here, Sean. I mean, it's terrific. We haven't had a night like this for 14 years.
It's tremendous stuff, it has been. Great Britain started very well, they're very confident, their body language is good, everything about them is positive. The Kiwis, they talk it up during the week, they've obviously warmed up very well, they do the haka and everything, they look terrific, they go into a huddle, and after that huddle, they're all over the place. There's real issues in that team, I'm afraid. They're lacking leadership to a certain extent, although perhaps I'm being a bit disrespectful to Roy Asotasi, because I think he's one of the outstanding players. But the halves haven't combined very well. I don't think the number 9s have worked well, either David Fayemu or Dean Hallertau, and I just don't think they've created enough opportunities. They've been a little bit unlucky that some of the bounce of the ball haven't quite gone their way, but look, that happens at any level of rugby league. But I just don't think they're quite at the races. And
what a start.
Oh, magnificent start. Jamie Peacock, he runs a very, very good hole after they receive a penalty, and that's a justified penalty. I don't think anyone would query that. Just change of angle there, but look, there's an opportunity for maybe 4 or 5 players to make a tackle, and Jamie Peacock was just far too strong. John Clark passed to Leon Price there. Excellent footwork. I don't think people realise how well Leon Price can change direction, how quick he can. He's very, very quick. Here's the kick from the scrum, and Clinton Tupy actually reads it well. Now, he's got time. Gareth Rayner puts pressure on him, the ball slips for, and Gareth Rayner I think he just loses balance a little bit as he's going to get the football, but that's a try that should have been scored, and I was about to call it. That was the ball game for me, but they had another opportunity, didn't they, Great Britain? Lovely set of hands there that went through, excellent angles, and it was Gareth Rayner who actually made up for his mistake and scored in the corner. And even though Rob Burrow's kick, well, I think we can forget about that. That wasn't one of his better ones. But 16-0 to me, the way that they're playing and the way New Zealand are playing is a winning lead. The game, as far as I'm concerned, is over if both sides are going to play like that in the second 40 minutes. 81% completion rate for the Great Britain side is extremely high at any level of rugby league. 57% for the Kiwis is poor. Now, if they can reverse that trend somehow by hunting the ball a bit better and maybe trying to get a couple of repeat sets, they can perhaps get their way back into this game. But half-time has come too early for Great Britain, Certainly, because they wouldn't have wanted it to be half-time. They would have wanted to keep playing. The Kiwis, they needed the rest.
Yeah, maybe so. I think the New Zealanders will point to a couple of tough decisions they've had go against them. There was the penalty in the corner here when Gareth Rayner and Shontaine Harpy were contesting a high ball.
Yes.
There was the penalty late on that allowed Britain to get their third try from Gareth Rayner. Tough calls from Tony Archer, but he's the man in control. He's the man with the whistle.
And I don't think he's done a bad job. I thought he was very good in last week's test. I think he's very good tonight. He explains his decisions. He doesn't rush them. He seems to handle the pressure very well. I think he's a very good referee. I do think, though, that the decision on Shontaine Harpy tackling Gareth Rayner in the air, again, I don't have time to explain the rule. Let me just say this, though, that in the NRL, you are allowed to do that. And
You're
that's something that Tony Archer said.
Contest the ball.
Yes, and Tony Archer said, well, not only contest the ball, you can actually tackle in the air in the in-goal area.
But it's not NRL rules.
No, and that's what Tony Archer said.
We're playing international
Correct.
rules.
Somebody came out and questioned it from the New Zealand side, and he said, this is not the NRL, this is international rules.
So I suppose that means then that both Gary Kemble and Tony Smith must find out what the international rules are and coach accordingly.
Well, I'll guarantee you they have done that, because they're both smart men, and coaches will do that. Coaches will make sure they know the rules. That doesn't always mean the players remember it under pressure. Let's remember, when Gareth Rayner went to take that ball and Shontaine Harpy contested, whether he did take him out, that's under a lot of pressure. You don't think about rules then.
No. Well, they might be thinking right now about the first series win in 14 years. 1993, Great Britain beat New Zealand 3-0. We haven't come close since then. All right, they've had a couple of back-to-back wins against the Kiwis in the Tri-Nations. They've beaten Australia in one-offs. This is history knocking on the door. The 2008 World Cup will be live on Sky Sports, and the qualifiers in 2007 are. On Friday night we saw the Irish get through to Australia. Tomorrow, can the Scots or the Welsh make it to join them? It's a 2 o'clock start on Sky Sports 3 and in high definition on HD2. And on Friday we see USA and Samoa, followed by Scotland and Wales, or Wales, the losers, taking on Lebanon. So it is all not over for the losers tomorrow, but those three matches coming up for you on Sky Sports next week. We have the second half of a test to play though here, and Great Britain are ahead by 16 points to 0, and the Great Britain supporters are very, very proud just now. 1993 we last won a test series against New Zealand, against anybody, 3-0. And do you know, we have the man of the series that year on our commentary team tonight. No, it's not Sean McRae. No, it's not Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor or Mr. Stevenson. It's Mr. Clark. How good is this British team compared to your vintage, Phil?
Well, I think they look very strong here tonight. Do you know, it reminded me, just thinking back to that, about a time when I played for Great Britain after having food poisoning a week earlier, and I really struggled and was ineffective in the next test match. I watched Kevin Sinfield's involvement in the first half, and I was surprised that he had been selected. I know how much you can take out of a player, and I thought that he struggled. He was removed and given a rest. Be waiting to see whether he gets back on in this game.
And you still have your Man of the Series award, I'm sure, safely at home, or is it locked away in the family vault?
Oh, it's compulsory that the wife cleans it every week.
OK, right, we have got just less than 40 minutes to go, and we will be hopefully celebrating another series win, but there is a lot of work still to do, Steve-O.
Yeah, New Zealand have been very, very happy that the half-time hooter sounded, because they were really run off their feet. They've had to do a lot of defending, but far too often they've gone high into the tackle, and they just have problems trying to stop the big, solid forwards, and this is where they've got great advantage. They're playing the ball a lot quicker.
And they're able to keep the ball alive, Great Britain as well, with consummate ease here. And on halfway, Gleeson will play the ball to Price. He will find Peacock, and Peacock will drive it forward again. That's the last tackle, though, for Great Britain, this opening set of 6 of the second half. Burrow will drill the kick behind the Kiwis' defence, and the winger Taniara Tuiaki picks it up. But again, great chasing by Great Britain to harry down the ball carrier, harry down the man who is trying to make progress forward. Look at the way they swarm around him. The ball comes free. Oh! And almost a mess by Fatuira, but he manages to come up with the goods for New Zealand.
Plenty chance of the Kiwis getting back into this game. They know they've got to score very, very early after the restart. But whether they've got the skills to get through this wonderful Great Britain defence, that is a big question. And I don't think they've got the answer.
There's the offload, though, to Lanso Haya, but he came to a juddering halt when he received the ball because the British team had just surrounded him. The white jerseys were there, couldn't get past them, couldn't get through them. Here's Moi Moi driving the ball in again, standing, looking to get it away, but it's clamped to his chest by Burgess. And there's a little dink over the top and into the corner, and Wellens is after this. He deals with it competently, the British St Helens full-back.
Well, a much better chase there from the men in black. Neat little kick into the corner. But again, the positional sense of Paul Wellens. There's a little bit sort of off colour, I felt, in the first test. But he's certainly shown his quality tonight.
Gareth Rayner. On home soil, of course, Gareth Rayner, the Hull winger, the only representative of the black and whites in this Great Britain team this evening. Here comes Burgess. He gets the offload away to Peacock. He gets away from one would-be challenger. 2 more come in. That's a grapple tackle.
He's got him for it as well. And this will spell more danger for the New Zealanders. Louis Anderson, no doubt about it.
It's a grapple tackle, but it's innocuous compared to what we saw last night. And Matthew Elliott is back in town, the former Bradford Bulls coach. He is coach of the United States. And United States will be involved next weekend, as we've just told you, in the World Cup. It's USA against Samoa. What a job that is, by the way, for the United States. And he is coach along with Terry Mattison of the Castleford Tigers. Is Matthew Elliott. That's Burgess, who plays the ball to Ellis. Ellis then gives it to Leon Price. And Leon Price, oh, he tried to get it away and find Gleeson. He only found the deck instead. And Frank Pritchard picks it up. And then he has lost it.
They'll take the first knock on. It'll still be head and feed to the black and whites. But the way that Leon Price is just dancing in and out, they're just causing all sorts of problems. A little bit forward, I felt. Paul Wellens had just overrun it.
The referee deeming there to be no advantage, so New Zealand will get the head and feed at the scrum, which is a relief for them.
It'll be interesting to see whether New Zealand can get to the halfway line.
They can't break this defence down at the moment, though. Look at it.
Solid. And it's what you would expect from an Australian coach. Very similar to what we saw in the grand final, where Leeds just completely blotted out anything that the Saints threw at them, and it's just exactly the same.
It was a right Shamoslett to play the ball, but New Zealand managed to come away with it, and there was a chance there for Asotasi. Asotasi plays the ball quickly. Here is Fatuira. Now then, there's a chance here down the wing for Tuiaki. Comes inside, bounces off John Clark, but is clawed to the ground on the end of the 4th tackle. Fatuira finds Lance Ohaya. Ohaya gives it some air and gives it to Luluai. Luluai then to Perrott. Perrott goes wide. That was Clinton Tupi. And Clinton Tupi flings the ball back. They keep it alive, New Zealand, somehow. It's Ohaya again. But wonderful British defence once more to close the opportunity down. Last tackle here coming up for New Zealand.
They've got to search for the extra 6, trying to get Great Britain to drop kick out underneath the sticks, but that's great defence yet again. And that'll be the turnover. Just pulverising defence, Great Britain. Absolutely superb.
Sam Burgess, the young player of the year, at the heart of all that.
Bit of a raised elbow there by Eddie Gardner.
I think the biggest thing missing for New Zealand, Eddie, when they get into that sort of position, is the void left by Stacey Jones. I suppose for over a decade, he would have been the brains there to link the good player to get into that position to the killer player that would put the points on the board. And at the moment, New Zealand don't have that.
O'Loughlin plays the ball to Clark. Clark looks and finds Peacock. And Peacock comes forward again, gets Britain over the halfway line. On tackle number 4, Danny Maguire is being brought into the fray in place of John Clark. Here, meanwhile, is James Graham. James Graham goes down. Maguire, who missed last week because of a wrist injury, is back on the international scene and immediately involved. Gets the ball away brilliantly to Wellens. Here is Burrow. Burrow to Paul Wellens again. Now it's Gleeson. And Gleeson, oh, the ball goes backwards. And it's continued on, but a wild pass from Gardner. Wellens picks it up, gives it to Graham. Graham at the back door. This is Gardner, still on the last. Dabs the ball forward. Gardner! Gardner is there! And Gardner cannot get the ball over the line, but it will be a goal line dropout, I think.
Should have been a penalty. I felt like Gardner was hanging on and pushing the New Zealander. If you're running in the same direction, you're only allowed to use your shoulder. Well, full credit to it. Oh, that should have been a penalty to the Kiwis. Pritchard is furious with the referee.
He's not held back, and he knows it.
And so is Roy Asotasi, who's having a word with the Australian official. I must say there have been a few 50-50s that have gone against the Kiwis, Sean. We mentioned it at half-time.
Yeah, they have, but I suppose in sport you make your own luck. And, you know, the Great Britain side have been in positions where they've created opportunities and they've been in good position with that. And sometimes we always say as coaches, oh, when we speak to people like Stuart Cummings, etc., we say, well, we never got the 50-50 calls. And often you get the response and say, well, your coach against you says the same thing, so somebody got the 50-50 calls. But you know, they're just mounting pressure, and the Kiwis are not really absorbing it as well as perhaps we're used to seeing them.
Greg Eastwood, number 16, is on. He got the tackle in then on the British number 16, Sam Burgess. But here they come. They're looking very fluent, Great Britain, with Wellens. And Wellens gives it then to Ellis. And Ellis will attack them up the middle again. This defence is a strength sapping for New Zealand. It really is. And here's Maguire. Maguire to Peacock. And Peacock still hauled down by Asotasi.
I'm beginning to fear for the New Zealanders, especially in the final quarter.
This is Leon Price. Now it's with Danny Maguire. Maguire took the gamble himself, backed himself, just held up short of the line. Last tackle. Burrow to Leon Price. Going to be a high crossfield kick into open space. All of Great Britain are after it. And the ball has been touched down by Wellens, I think it was.
This will be a try.
And the referee wants to check it out.
I think Senior knocked that ball backwards. It didn't go forward as far as I'm concerned.
Price was that deep, I wondered whether they actually were in front of him at that point, but no, good discipline. Clearly the penalty box on the soccer markings here indicates that they are behind Leon Price as he puts the ball to his boot.
No problem there. It was a beautiful kick, wasn't it, from Price? He's having a belter of a game, but watch Keith Senior. Challenges and knocks it deliberately back, and Paul Wellens says this is probably the easiest try I've scored for many a day. Thank you very much indeed. That'll be TRY. Deliberately knocked backwards. You can see that he was forcing the ball backwards. Wellens doesn't do anything other than get the fingertips to it. They'll just check to see that he got it down correctly. There it is. Every picture tells a story, and the story is not going all that well for the Kiwis.
Try is given to Paul Wellens. Model of consistency, this young man. He's missed only 2 tests in 4 seasons. He's won 5 of 8 against New Zealand. And he was in the England side in the 2000 World Cup semi-final against the Kiwis at Bolton as well, which was a painful experience. But at the moment it's a painful experience for the Kiwis because Wellens has come up with his 4th international try and has edged Great Britain further ahead. It is now 20 points to 0 and the kick to come from Rob Burrow. But the decision by the referee, Tony Archer, to award the drop kick came up trumps for Great Britain. The goal line dropout, Britain got the possession back, and at the end of the set of 6, Wellens came up with the 4 points. Burrow adds the extras. 22 points to 0. If they don't win it now, they'll never win a series.
Oh, the Roman hose, don't worry about that. The silver has already been got ready on the sideboard. Beautiful kick. He's done everything right as Leon Price tonight, but what a beautiful effort from Senior. Deliberately went for the ball and pushed it back. Made it quite clear, and the video referee, Mr. Ganson, agreed.
Britain looking full of running, full of beans, and 22-0 up. Anything could happen in the next half hour.
Well, they've looked like a side tonight who've come here expecting to win, but with the determination that they will do the work necessary to get that win. And when you add those two combinations together, you put a pretty strong side out on the field. I think that the success they've had by scoring has obviously increased their confidence, and the difference we've seen both a bit last week and here tonight is their willingness to offload the ball and support the man with the ball.
Burrow with the kick downfield on tackle number 4, turning them round. Shantae Harpy picks it up.
Again, there in numbers. Leading the way, little halfback Rob Burrow. It's amazing, you know, when Rob Burrow made it into the big time at Leeds, a lot of people were saying that, well, he can't tackle, he's too small. Oh, yes, he can.
Off 16,
doesn't matter how big they are, he'll put them down.
Here's Luluai again. He controlled the game for long periods last week. He filled in for Stacey Jones, of course, didn't he? With Stacey Jones being retired, he looked like the man who might just carry the mantle forward for New Zealand, but he's been a bit overshadowed tonight.
Yes, he has, Eddie, and he doesn't look right to me either. I'm sure that he got a dead leg in the when Gareth Rayner scored the try just before half-time, and he's come out and he's certainly got that left thigh very heavily strapped, and you just look at him run, and he's Aidy Gardner, it's an instruction.
And you got him.
He thought he was away.
He did think he was away.
He pursed the lips and got the G.
But he ran round the back of Gareth Ellis, that's why the obstruction's been given.
Yeah, he got the G out. Pursing it for the L, but it wasn't going to be glory.
Here's Asutazi. This fella won't give it in.
Amazing. 15 tackles from this fella in the first half.
And another penalty to New Zealand.
Quick tap.
Interference at the play of the ball. And David Fayumu restarts. Oh, they've lost a golden opportunity here. They haven't come up with the ball yet, Great Britain, but they have lost so much ground there, the Kiwis. Although you have to credit the chase from Simon Mannering.
Did exceptionally well. Just got the boot to it in time, then got back.
Ohio will stand and will play it to Fayumu again. And he gives it to Eastwood. Played as a substitute, Greg Eastwood, in the All-Goals team against the Northern Union at Warrington. Ohio's pass finds its way into the arms of Louis Anderson. Did well to hang on to that under extreme pressure. Drive forward for the line again, but wonderful British defence.
You're short, Sam! You're short!
And it was short. Sam Rapira, says referee Tony Archer, wants to play the ball, which he does now. This is Asutazi, gives it then to Louis Anderson. Wonderful! Great Britain defence again!
That'll be the turnover as well. Sheer power. This is a wonderful effort. As a coach, Sean McRae, you look towards the 80 minutes and you say, how many mistakes has your team made? And if it's very low, you know you're going to get the spoils.
Oh, absolutely, and the Great Britain side have improved so much since the first test last week. I guess we turned up tonight expecting to see both teams improve. We've certainly seen one, and that's been Great Britain. The Kiwis tonight have, well, I think they're actually showing a performance that is substandard to last week's performance. I really expect them to improve in so many departments, but they just haven't been able to.
Here comes the skipper again. Oh, an important ankle tap that was by Asutazi. He's a bit groggy as Asutazi. That's a lovely dink over the top, and it's very well dealt with. And it was stolen. And here is Burrow. second try at this level. Remember, he scored on his debut against the Kiwis at St Helens last June.
Well, they really should have had the possession. And it was good work by O'Loughlin, ripped it out. But look at the twinkle toes here. Man of the match last week. Good position. What about the pass from Gleeson? Sensational stuff. Beautiful centre play. He's back to his best, you know, Gleeson as well. And what a finish. He's waited a long time to cement a place in the Great Britain outfit. But you can't doubt him now. Wonderful finish.
And can Rob Burrow thread the ball through the eye of a needle from out here on the right-hand side? And Burrow taking aim, but just nipping the ball the wrong side of the posts. 26 points to 0. Great Britain lead. Aidy Gardner with the try. Well, the series in 2007 is a wonderful platform for the World Cup in 2008.
Well, when you look back at the England Rugby Union side that went to Australia in 2003 and won the World Cup, they did it, Eddie, on the back of a series of successful wins. That winning streak built the confidence that they needed to win down under. And let's just hope this is the start here now. Very early days still. And this game's still in the with plenty to play, but there's a confidence really, and that try really smacked of a world champion outfit, didn't it? One chance, picking it up, shifting it wide and finishing the try.
And they have just conceded another penalty for the high challenge there on James Graham by the substitute David Fayumu. Let's go down to Bill, injury news.
And it's just going from bad to worse for the Kiwis, and Sean McRae touched on it early on, the fitness of Thomas Luluai, and he's been a sort of peripheral figure so far tonight. He's faded as the game has gone on. Well, now he's completely out of the picture, and it does look as though that thigh injury is what's been hampering him all night. He hasn't been at all effective for the Kiwis, and I don't think he'll be back.
Well, as Bill says, it goes from bad to worse, and there is a long time to go in this match. In Great Britain, with Burgess lose the ball, but in the end, it's well picked up by Perrott.
Great work by the fullback. Tremendous stuff. Talk about going second effort. But what about the run there from Sam Burgess? You'd think he'd been playing international rugby league for about 5 or 6 years.
Clinton Tupy tries to get away from Rob Burrow, can't, and Keith Senior comes in and finishes off the job. Teammates for Leeds Rhinos, those three, but enemies this evening. Jeremy Smith hangs on. Here is Lance O'Hire. Big responsibility on his shoulders now with Luluai off the field. This, though, is the winger, and he loses the ball, does Tuiaki, under extreme pressure. And look what that means to Great Britain.
An incredible hit by the fullback, Wellens. Gardner went far too high. This is magnificent. Highlight of the match so far as I'm concerned.
And all the British players went to Wellens then and slapped him on the back, hugged him. It was a special moment for Wellens, that. This is Burrow. The Kiwis in danger here of being swamped again.
Well, they have to be tight, don't they, around the middle, because that's where, over the hour we've played here tonight and the game they played last week, Great Britain have exploited the gaps and punished New Zealand again. Graham taking it forward. You see Rob Burrow operating behind the play of the ball, looking for a chance when he can move it, or just shipping it on to his teammates.
There's a little knock-on, though. Knock-on by Kevin Sinfield, who is back out there. Yes, it is Kevin Sinfield, who's just come back out there.
Just trying to force it, a little bit too fancy. But at 26-0, they're approaching the final quarter, and you just get the impression that Great Britain are just going to walk through this defence. They look very, very defeated, don't they?
Well, if Thomas Luluai is injured and he's got a dead leg and he doesn't recover by next week, will the call go out?
Stacey Jones, you laughed at me, didn't you, when I mentioned it?
Would there really be any point? would there be any point? You might as well put a young player, and if you're down 2-0 in a series, I don't think so. I think, you know what, if it was 1-1, I do believe the call would go out. It's, you know, something in this last 20 minutes, we might just see something from the Kiwis, because they know now the only way to win, they've got to score points, they've got to score quickly, so we might just see some brilliant, entertaining football from them. Unfortunately, though, when you start to do that, it's like catch-up, you can also have a high error rate, so the scoreline could blow out.
This is Simon Mannering.
The biggest problem for the Great Britain coach, Tony Smith, is the fact that the likes of Adrian Morley, who went in very high then, there's been no love lost between the two sides in regards to what's happened on the disciplinary.
Great run from Halatau, gets the ball away. Good defence from Sean O'Loughlin. He's on Sam Rapira. This is Lance O'Hire. Flying tackle by Adrian Morley. Gary Campbell looking very concerned.
Back here, boys.
You don't want to take many of those, do you? Oh. Lance O'Hire felt it pretty high. I made the point, he was in a good position with the referee Tony Archer, but I made the point that can't afford to be getting a player sent off.
I think they call that ball and all, Eddie.
Surrender! Stand!
Oh, and there's more trouble here for the Kiwis, because Maori Fasavalu is coming back on. Having had a breather, replaces James Graham. This is O'Loughlin.
The forwards have been running riot through this New Zealand defence, especially very tight to the play the ball area. Here's a big fella. They know they've got to go low on this man.
Burrow and Leon Price. Infield it goes to Morley, spins away from one challenge. Still going Adrian Morley, marauding up the middle. Could have got the pass away.
Should have got the pass away, but look how quickly they've played the ball. The Kiwis are in all sorts of trouble.
This is senior support is there from Maguire. Maguire brings Rayner back on the inside. Rayner to Wellens. Wellens to Burrow. Oh, vintage stuff. Vintage stuff from Great Britain. Outstanding play. Well, he's not been with them long, but he has forged quite a side. Rob Burrow with the latest try. That's the 6th tonight. And Rob Burrow, man of the match last week with his 4 from 4 goals, as he stepped into the breach when Kevin Sinfield was taken ill on the morning of the match. 2 tries against France in June. Man of the match in the grand final against St Helens. And Rob Burrow with the latest try here. And the goal kicker, Kevin Sinfield, is back.
Superb finish. He started it all. Morley, he could have offloaded. He should have. But it didn't matter, because you could see the Kiwi defence was all over the place. Look at the run around here. Watch for the switch back inside. That's a sign of a very good outfit. Support play supreme. And the little fella gets over. Go to it, beep, beep. Man of the match last week. It'd go pretty close tonight, too.
Sinfield adds the extras. Great Britain lead by 32 points to 0.
And if you go back and look at the test matches over the last 5 years between Great Britain, Australia and New Zealand, in most of them you'll find that the Great Britain side matched or even beat them in the forwards. Where they let themselves down and where they failed to win the game was their ability of the backs to turn chances into points. You've started to see here now in the last 5 or 10 minutes a precision in attack and a speed as well, and I think if you want to become the world champions, you probably need the best halfbacks in the world. The test now for Leon Price and Rob Burrow is, can they improve and get even better and become 2 of the best players in the world?
Well, 53-19 in the 1972 World Cup is the biggest win against New Zealand, and Mr. Stevenson played in that. I don't know whether we're going to get to 53-19, Steve-O, but 32-0, it is pretty good reading just now. Oh,
it's been an excellent performance by Great Britain. They should feel very, very proud. And not only that, he's into touch. Not only that, they will get the silverware.
I don't think so.
The Baskerville Shield.
I think that will be presented next week, won't it, at Wigan?
How many points for a try in those days, Steve-O?
3.
Only 3, so that makes that scoreline even more meritorious, doesn't it, in terms of
Absolutely.
the number of tries scored, I would
When
imagine.
Steve-O played, it was like 1907 when they first came over here. 3 for a... In fact, you played in that series, didn't you? Thought we might have seen you leading the Northern Union out that night at Warrington. Never mind. 32-0. It's time to celebrate, really, because we haven't had anything to really shout about in terms of series victories
But it's been
since
nearly
1993. 14 long years.
It's been an impeccable performance by Great Britain because it's the error rate has been so low. The defence has been superb.
Can they do this against the Aussies? That's the big question.
Well, they've certainly got the making for it.
I mean, let us not get carried away. That there are a lot of New Zealand players back home.
Yes, I know that. It's not the best Kiwi side we'll ever see.
Tony Smith won't be getting carried away, by the way.
No, but the one thing about Tony Smith, you know, there was a lot of raised eyebrows when he dropped Terry Newton and put in John Clark. And he sent out a message to everybody. Say, hey, just because you've worn it once, the red, white and blue, you're not going to be sure to get it yet again. He's a smart cookie. Good coach, Tony Smith.
And this is a great run from Sean O'Loughlin. Oh, but he passed the ball to a black jersey. He was looking for Maguire. Next week, next Saturday, 5:30, Sky Sports 3, and in high definition via the red button on your handsets, we might just be celebrating a 3-0 whitewash.
They've got 3-on-1 here.
They have. But look at the defence from Rayney, and Shontaine Harpy just didn't have the confidence to take him on the outside. Well, that brings a little smile to the face of the British coach.
Well, he's certainly not wind when he sees this. Wonderful defence. He's had a very big game. There hasn't been a bad player in red, white and blue tonight. They've all played their part. Been a very strong unit, Sean.
They sure have, Steve-O. They've just right across the park in every facet of the game. They've been so strong. And as I said, they came out in a confident mood. They got away to a great start. And effectively, they've created a lot of chances for themselves. And they've nullified pretty much everything that the Kiwis have thrown at them. You know what? With 12 minutes to go on the clock, I'll bet their goal is to stop the Kiwis from scoring points.
Well, the last time they nilled anybody was the first test at Wembley in 1993. It was 17-0, 1993 at Wembley in that first test, when, of course, they went on to win it 3-0, and Phil Clark got the Man of the Series award, and Jason Robinson got 2 tries on his test debut.
Another good facet of the game, and that Tony Smith will be very pleased with, is the ability of the Great Britain boys, the way that they've shared the workload. They haven't just left it to 1 or 2. I mean, quite a few of them jumped in at the play-the-ball arena.
Good hands from Britain again. They really are turning on the skills now. Mentioned in the build-up to this, a victory for Tony Smith would give him the best start to a British international coaching career since the great Malcolm Reilly 20 years ago, and victory now is what it surely and most certainly will be. Credit the Kiwis, though. They are trying to salvage something. Their coach Gary Kemble and all these players, of course, will be under the most intense scrutiny back home. This test match going back live to them in New Zealand, and Hugh McGann and Gary Freeman, amongst others, have been quite vociferous in their criticism of Gary Kemble. Hugh McGann has actually called for Wayne Bennett to take over the New Zealand coaching reins after the way he blended and merged with the All Goals at Warrington just a couple of weeks ago. When you lose, you come in for some hammer, don't you?
Certainly do, but to be fair to Gary Kemble, it is not the best outfit that they've brought over. They know that. Oh, that's shocking. That
sums it up, really.
Yeah.
Give some credit, though, to John Clark. He worked hard from the defensive line. It was a chase for nothing, wasn't it, to put pressure on Ohio. And you know what? I'm really pleased for John Clark making his debut here. 28 years of age. I think the strength of a man is really determined by how he copes with the setback, and He's had some early in his career when he was rejected by 1 or 2 clubs, but to work hard year in, year out to get better, to work on your improvement every single week is fully deserved by John Clark tonight.
Absolutely, and he has had a fantastic season for Warrington in adversity. He said in the build-up with Steve-O, Phil, he has hardly played hooker actually this year. He's played loose forward, he's played second row, he's filled in during the injury crisis. Here is a chance. Oh, this is going to be a try. It's a simple gift for Keith Senior.
He'll go to the screen, will he?
No, I don't think he needs to. No, the try is given. It was more like a full-back sliding tackle. Nothing out of the Rugby League coaching manual over on that far side by the New Zealand defence. And the ball just ricocheted clear. Well, it's a rout. Great Britain have put New Zealand to the sword. They've taken them to the cleaners.
And a beautiful kick right down on that short blind side. It was really good work. The combination, the eagerness, it's been there throughout the game. And Keith Senior, he saves the best, doesn't he, when he pulls on the Great Britain jumper. The standoff, bad error. The eagerness here. Right, Welland says, I'll punch it through. And the mere fact that Rayner was putting the pressure on Sam Perrott was sufficient enough for Perrott to just slide away, and the ball just popped up for this fella. He knew he couldn't get there with the arms, and when you go in with your feet first, it can ricochet anywhere, and it did.
Well, it was a sliding tackle by a fullback that Hull City might have been proud of. Kevin Sinfield, meanwhile, adds the extras. 38 points to nil. 7 different try scorers tonight for Great Britain. The names of Peacock, Price, Rayner, Wellens, Gardner, Burrow and now Senior on the score sheet. And that is as pleasing as anything.
I think the hardest job tonight for anybody is selecting the man of the match, because they've all played their part.
And how about this take from the kickoff by Danny Maguire?
Superb, isn't it? Knew it was going towards the sticks, and then the wherewithal just to offload it as well. Danger out wide.
Britain aren't content, they're looking for more at 38-0. Burrow gets the ball back to Ellis. And Ellis manages to smuggle the ball away to Clark.
We all know that it was going to be a problem for the Kiwis in this final quarter, because they looked tired as he trotted off just before the half-time break. And it's not surprising, because this Great Britain outfit, they've just run them ragged. They're out on their feet.
7 minutes to go, 38-0 Great Britain lead. John Clark with a kick over the top to the corner. Perrott chasing after it again, but it will beat him. It will find the touchline on that far side.
Basic rugby league football. He knows it. He's had a fine debut as John Clark. Just got on with his business. In some quick play of the balls, got the ball away. He's a happy chappy. Who knows? 16 years later, 15 years later, he may be pulling on the Great Britain jumper. Let's hope so. You can't blame the Kiwis for effort. They have tried everything. It's a mere fact that Great Britain, right from the start when Peacock scored, have just controlled this game in every department.
Yes, they have. It was the perfect start. 2 minutes, try on the board. Here is Perrott. They have another penalty because markers, I don't think, standing square.
I agree with Sean McRae. Johnny Smith will get the message out. The game's ours. We've won that. There's a new game out there. It's called the Zero. Keep it that way.
Big hit by Martin Gleeson.
To be fair, Gleeson caught one just before that. Doesn't look 100% at the moment, Gleeson.
This is Eastwood. Trying to get rid of the ball in an impossible situation. Gareth Rayner plays the ball to Clark. Here is Fasavalu.
They've worked as a unit, haven't they, Great Britain? Watch this. When the ball comes out, see how he just made sure that he shepherded Simon Mannering. Absolutely wonderful from Burrow.
5 minutes to go. Great Britain have won the series. 38-0. They take a 2-0 lead. Martin Gleeson comes off to be replaced by Leon Price. This is Fasavalu, full of running, gets the ball to Clark. Here is Maguire.
Right.
Clark again. And Sinfield. That's off the chest of the Kiwi. Will be picked up. Oh! Gets away with it somehow. It looked like a knock-on by Pritchard.
Certainly looked that way. Obviously, Tony Archer, the referee, was looking the other way, perhaps. They will be desperate, will the Kiwis, to get points on that board.
Pritchard looks absolutely out on his feet at the moment.
He's not on his own either. They've trundled the ball up, but it's been far too often just one-out rugby league football tonight from the New Zealanders.
They're being forced back on the inside all the time, though, aren't they? Here is Eastwood again. Now it's Perrott. Perrott to O'Hire. Oh, that's straight into the arms of Leon Price. And Leon Price is being handed down by O'Hire. But O'Hire's pass is perfect for Price. And it's a perfect try for Leon Price. It's a perfect night for Great Britain. It's his second try. And Great Britain are going to post 40 if Kevin Sinfield kicks the goal. They're past the 40 mark now. 42-0.
And surely that will wrap up the man of the match as well, because Price, he was elegant in the first half. His stepping early in the piece was outstanding. Completely bamboozled the New Zealand defence all night. And he tops it off with an intercept. Ricocheted all over the place, and then it just came into in great positioning. He tried hard, did O'Hire, but it wasn't going to be sufficient. Sheer pace, good position. An international, world-class international on display tonight. The determination on his face. Mr. Price has made the Kiwis pay the price.
Well, everyone in this wonderful KC Stadium applauding the British performance tonight. Sinfield here now makes it 44 points to 0. It's a wonderful British victory against New Zealand.
He'll be pleased, but at the back of his mind he realises that this Kiwi outfit perhaps not at its best. We've already gone over the ground in regard to Thomas Luluai. He probably started this game not 100% fit either. But you can't take anything away from the GB boys. The combination between Leon Price and Rob Burrow. How many years have we been trying to say, let's get a great combination in the halves? And I think we've found one now.
Well, it's certainly the best Great Britain victory against the Kiwis, because their biggest win was that 53-19 World Cup win in Pau in 1972 in France. Their best in a home game against the Kiwis was 46-14 at St Helens in June 2006. 44-0 has got to be Great Britain's best victory margin-wise. And with a minute left to play, they aren't finished yet. Here is Jamie Peacock, just announced as man of the match, and he's lost the ball.
Well, his powerhouse display in the opening 90 seconds was nothing short of brilliant. He palmed them off just like flies and went in for it. He'll be a proud man tonight. So often they've had bitter defeats at the hands of Australia and New Zealand, but not tonight. Been a wonderful performance from them.
This is Fatuira. Last 30 seconds of the test, of the second test. More to come next weekend. Great Britain will go for the 3-0 whitewash at Wigan. You'll see it with us on Sky Sports 3 and in HD via the red button. Last 15 seconds, 44-0, a wonderful night's work for Great Britain here. This is Jeremy Smith.
Well, he's put a good shoulder charge on there. Maybe a little chip over the top from the Kiwis to try to salvage some points.
O'Hire dabs the ball forward, there's the knock-on. There's the last tackle of the match. And Great Britain have won the series 44-0. And he has got the best start to a coaching record for the British in 20 years, Tony Smith. What a month or so he has had. Grand final victory with Leeds Rhinos at Old Trafford to say farewell to the club. A victory in the first test, a victory in the second test, interspersed of course by what happened at Warrington, the all-goals beating the Northern Union, which was under his control, but that really was just an exhibition. This is the real stuff. And Jamie Peacock, the skipper, picks up the Man of the Match award. And didn't he lay the platform in the opening 2 minutes when he went over for that try? So, it's 2-0 with 1 to play. And the whitewash that was talked about last week pre-match looks like it's on.
I didn't expect such a beating, but the way that they gelled tonight was superb. Their coach, Tony Smith, will be extremely proud, and rightly so. He's prepared them exceptionally well. Jamie Peacock, the man of the match, smiles on the faces of the British boys.
You know, the KC Stadium has not been kind to Britain in the past. They beat the New Zealanders here in 2004. Before tonight, that was their only win here. They lost to Australia twice, 2003, 2005. But 2007, they've beaten the Kiwis. No, they haven't. They've hammered the Kiwis. And Bill's with the skipper and man of the match, Jamie Peacock.
Thanks, Eddie. And Jamie just receiving his Man of the Match award from Nathan Homer, marketing executive from Gillette. Thanks, Nathan. Well, the start is important to a test match, and you could not have wished for a better start than that.
Yeah, I managed to get off the back of a good carry off Martin, and got behind the ruck and got a nice try, so yeah, it was a good start for us all.
There's no looking back from there, was there?
Yeah, you know, I think there's some stuff being spoke about, you know, this is not a great Kiwi team, you know, it's a good Kiwi team, it's full of NRL players. You know, we've had a lot of players retired from international football. Probably, if you look at the list of players, there's like Faz, Scully, Lonnie, Kieran, Brian Carney, Chris Adlinski, and I've probably named some more. And we've had to have a transition, and it's been a great performance over us up for the last 2 games, really.
Has this exceeded your expectations, Jamie? To a record victory, a series win already?
Yeah, it's good, eh? You know, we always set out to want to win the series 3-0, and I think we've put a great performance in tonight. It was tough to start with. We defended very well and attacked very well as well. There's some, you know, some great skill out there.
Now, people will, Jamie, talk about the Kiwi players who aren't here, who've stayed at home. You can only beat what's out there.
Yeah, you know, when I last looked at their team sheet, you know, there were no Lion Red, you know, players in that team. It's full of NRL players and Super League players, so, you know, I think it speaks volume for the level of Super League, to be honest.
What about the potential of this side?
Yeah, it's good. You know, there's some great players not playing at the moment, you know, as well as I think things are looking up. You know, we'll take things one stage at a time, and you know, there's a bigger picture when we hopefully go down for the World Cup. But you know, let's try and finish the series off with another win next week.
Jamie, thanks a lot. Congratulations. Let's bring Kevin Sinfield in as well. You obviously watched your diet this week.
Yeah, a little bit. Turns out it probably weren't food poisoning now. I think it were a bug, but yeah, just delighted to be out here tonight. A bit of a difference from last week, so great result for us.
Great Britain have been on the receiving end of scorelines like this in the past. It must be very sweet to inflict this sort of damage on somebody else.
It's great, yeah. That's 2-0 now. The season's wrapped up, but there's still one more to go. Bill, be a big ask that last one, certainly for them. But they'll come out and want to salvage some pride, and hopefully we can finish them off.
Thanks, Kevin. Congratulations tonight.
Cheers, mate.
Well, it's a sweet moment for these British players, and well, Barry and Terry have been on the receiving end of a few beatings themselves in the time when they pulled on the British jersey. Not so tonight, though. They're amongst the British players. Barry, Terry, it's all yours.
Adrian, you played in 29 tests. First test series win, how does it feel?
Fantastic. You know, I've been playing 12 years international and never actually won a series. It's eluded me, and you know, to win one finally is fantastic. And you know, the way we did it, we've been on the end of a few good ideas from New Zealand over the years, and good to run up a few points finally.
Was that a reason you physically dominated the Kiwi forwards? It's never really seen it been done until nil, and you must be proud of that effort, mate.
Very proud. I thought it was very good last week, even though the scoreline I thought I flattered New Zealand a bit last week. Today we really got everything in order, and yeah, not only ran a few points up, but keep it to nil. Very pleased with it.
Good work, man.
Sam, you must be pleased with your debut. International, you've got 2 games under your belt and 2 wins.
Yeah, absolutely over the moon, especially my first 2 tests in international career, and to get a series win first in 13 years, I think is fantastic for me, and great way to start an international career.
And coming in for a bit of stick, coming in for a bit of attention off a couple of New Zealand forwards, did that intimidate you at all?
Not really. I mean, I enjoy the physical part of the game, and part of my game, and that's why I play rugby league. I can enjoy that, and I think it's the only legal way you can get out of yourself, so yeah, so I don't mind that.
And again, you know, the defence, you were so line proud, and an expectancy that I haven't known Great Britain to have for a long, long time.
Yeah, I think that's a big influence from Tony. He's real big on stuff like that, and said we're tough guys for defending his own line, and I think in one part of the game today we defended his own line for 4 sets, and just showed how tough we were, and a great credit to the boys tonight.
Good stuff, Jack. Enjoy yourself, mate. Enjoy the boys.
I'm sure they will, and Barry and Terry, you know, this Great Britain side, even you two would look good in it, wouldn't you? That's a terrific performance.
I don't know whether we'd look good in it, Eddie. I think a few years past that, but that's by far the most dominant Great Britain side I've seen for a long time now, and the way that the forwards took it to them and the skill that the backs have gotten, I was just impressed with them in the second half, the way that they actually played the game.
Barry,
they played for each other. They wanted to promote the ball. They wanted to have fun, and that's great to see on an international stage.
Barry, you know exactly what Tony Smith brings to club coaching. You have worked with him at Headingley. I mean, he has got something going here for Britain, hasn't he?
You know, two matches and 2 victories and a series victory, which is something we haven't done for a long time.
Absolutely. Well, we talked about Tony Smith. Let's talk to the man himself, because the British coach, the successful British coach, is with Bill.
Tony, to inflict that sort of damage on the second-ranked nation in World Rugby League, that's some achievement.
Yeah, it sure is. In the way we went about it, I thought it was terrific. You know, obviously the defence was fantastic to keep a nil scoreline, but I thought they were entertaining, our guys, as well. They played some footy and, you know, enjoyed themselves and took some risks and, you know, paid off. We're getting better.
Well, that's it. This seemed to be a step up from last week.
Yeah, exactly. We wanted to be that way, and it came across that way. And you know, we want to step it up again next week. And you know, it was good. I'm pleased for the players. They were very determined. Once again, before the game, there was a feel about them, a determined feel about them, and I felt confident because of the players.
That came across as well on our side of the whitewash, a unity. I think they referred in commentary almost like a club side about them.
Yeah, there was. There's a real. You know, there's a closeness in the team. You can see it. It's been building. It's difficult to get that when they come from all different clubs and only in a short period, but there is a feel like that. Even, you know, the guys who didn't play for us tonight have been terrific in camp, and, you know, they make a difference. The guys are not making the team, and, you know, they're right into it. And so, you know, it makes it into a club atmosphere.
Of course, I suppose one thing to do is keep feet on the ground, and there'll be great expectations now about the World Cup, England's prospects.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to get carried away internally. You know, we'll leave that for you guys in the media and the press, you know, to heap all the pressure on. But, no, you know, we're just, we're happily going along and improving. You know, it gives me a chance this week, and me and the coaches, to maybe have a look at a few different combinations now. You know, we're not going to take the foot off the gas by any means, but, you know, we'll have a look at a couple of our players to see if they need a rest as well. Some of them have been playing a lot of footy this year.
From a personal point of view, and I know you don't like to go into the personal details, but to have a grand final triumph and then a series win like this, can't be bad.
No, I've been pretty lucky to coach some pretty good teams, haven't I? You know, and that's how I look at it. So, you know, I'm grateful for that. And, you know, the teams that I've coached in the last little while have, you know, worked hard to get their just desserts.
Tony, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Tony Smith, the British coach, will keep feet on the ground, and you never know, we might see the likes of, I don't know, David Hodgson, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Kirk Yeaman and company next week, who have all been part and parcel of this squad.